Hello and welcome to Between the Books. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Isadora.
And today we're going to be talking about Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. And we're also going to be talking about the activity that we did for this book, which was an escape room.
And because we're recording this podcast right now, you can assume that we have escaped, guys. We did not stay locked in. We did not stay locked in. We had an hour to escape and we made it.
So before we dive into that, Isadora, what are you currently reading?
So Shannon, I finished this book this morning before we went to the escape room, which was also today. So I'm currently not reading anything, but I did go to the bookstore yesterday and I bought this really pretty copy of the first Bridgerton book by Julia Quinn.
Is that The Duke and I?
The Duke and I, about Daphne and Simon. I wanted to read the book, but I wasn't that I like the show a lot, but I wasn't dying to read the book. But we're going to the Comic-Con coming up and the author's going to be there. So I really wanted to a pretty copy to get her to sign. So I think I'm going to read that next. That's on my list. I think it'll be cute. It'll be a cute little palette cleanser for all the books, the intellectual books I'm reading.
From Hamlet to
From
this.
Hamlet to Everyone on This Train is a Suspect to this. To Bridgerton. And how about you? What are you reading?
So I also recently finished Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret, which is the third book in this Ernest Cunningham trilogy. So this train one is the second one. We reviewed and read the first one, so you can listen to that. But I did recently read the third one, which is a Christmas novella, which is super cute and really fun. I was reading it with my partner again. I liked this one a lot. I think the thing that's most interesting about this novella is actually how the murder happens in the book, because the rest of the books are just okay, who did it and what's their motive, and that's kind of the interesting part. But in the third book, it's okay, but how did this sort of impossible murder actually occur? And I think that's kind of neat.
That's fun, yeah. I might read that too soon. That might be on my list coming up. But yeah, so Shannon, I think because we did talk about this we did talk about the first book, already on the podcast. So if you guys haven't read that, you guys should definitely check it out. But just kind of looking back, we both really liked that first book. We've talked about that. But going into this book, did you have any expectations? What were you expecting from this book that you thought was going to be similar to the first one or different?
I don't know if I had any expectations. In fact, I think there's a lot of surprises where it's I didn't think that they would do this.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that they did. For example, Ernest kind of laments in this book that the murders and everything that happened in the first book, when you're a detective, you kind of expect the detective to just move on to the next case and not emotionally grow. But in this book, Ernest has he grapples sort of with what happened in the previous book. At least he mentions it and how much it affected him. And I was oh my God, this survivor's guilt is such an interesting angle to have your detective basically, or an interesting trait for your detective to have. Yeah. And it was just a more kind of welcome surprise that I didn't expect that kind of stuff would carry over. I would say if you do just want to read this book, you can. It's not going to spoil the first one for you.
He actively does it so that he doesn't spoil it.
Yeah. But I think you'll get more out of this, especially with those aspects of the story, if you read the first one.
That's true. And yeah, that's actually something I didn't think about, how he did mention that he wishes he was maybe if I had solved this earlier last time, less people would have died.
And I will say he continues to grapple with that in the third book.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It kind of happens in this one too. He does kind of bring that up again. And I think even throughout the book, he's so right away, the first murder happens, he's I need to solve this. And I think that kind of goes with that. He's I need to solve this so that no one else dies. Which was interesting. I thought it was funny that the moment the murder started happening, he's okay, this is going on my book.
I thought everyone was for your next book, Ern? not even just him.
Am I going to be in the next book? Is that why you're asking me these questions? So here's the little synopsis for this book. And I'm going to do it in earnest. I'm earnest right now, but I'm not doing the Australian accent, even though Shannon wants me to. I'm not going to do that. But this is Ernest speaking. I'm Ernest Cunningham. When the Australian Mystery Writers Society invited me to their crime writing festival aboard the Gone, a famous train through the Australian desert, I was hoping to get some inspiration for my second book. But then one of the writers on board is murdered. The remaining authors quickly turn into detectives. One of us should be able to solve the mystery, right? Yeah, so I feel like when you put a bunch of writers together, like that was the main thing. And this is something that I feel like writers talk a lot about is like, especially mystery writers have to research like how to hide a dead body, how to do this, how to do that. So like they're always like, ooh, among all of us, I'm sure we could commit a crime or hide a body or this and that. So I think that was a big part of this book, which is funny.
So Isadora, what did you think about this book?
I did really like this book. It, compared to the first one, I think I still like the first one more. I think maybe it's just because I was fresh into it and I was like, oh, this is something new. And this one I was already kind of knew what to expect from him. I still liked it anyways, like everything is super fun. But it took me a while and I'll get into why more later on, but it took me a while to get really into it. I think it took me into the murder for me to be like, ooh, okay, we're in this right now. I think the lead up to it, there's just a lot of, because I was trying to like figure out like the details and stuff, but there's so many details at the beginning and you don't even know who's going to be murdered. So it's so hard to know what to pay attention to. So I was like, please just someone get killed already so that I know what to focus on. So that it took me a while, but once I was in it, I did really enjoy it. So that was really fun. How about you?
I really enjoyed this book. I'm actually torn whether I like it more than the first one.
Yeah.
But I think I enjoyed my reading experience with this book more. So I mentioned in the previous podcast episode that I read the climax of the book just with my partner. This book we read entirely out loud to each other. The entire book we read out loud. And that was just really fun.
Did you do the accents? I didn't think so.
Well, it was my partner who read it mostly, so I didn't want to make her do the accents. But it was really fun because I've never really done that before. Just read an entire book out loud with somebody. They kind of have to live with you for it to work. To read like 300 pages. We were piecing it like together, and our book is like covered in like sticky notes and like us just trying to put all like the pieces together and like keep track of things.
Yeah.
And again, the thing that's most rewarding about this series, which it sounds so weird to say, but is just like because the clues are all there, it's totally possible and rewarding, I think, for you to try to figure out like who, like what the motives are, who did it and everything. And I think both these books are really good about that.
Yeah.
If you want to figure it out, you can. And I even almost wonder if you don't put that effort in, I don't know how rewarding it is.
It's different because I had two very different experiences reading this book and the previous book. Because the previous book, I did not try to guess it at all. Like, I mean, there were moments that I was like, oh, maybe this is it. But I was kind of just going with the flow and and just seeing what they were finding out as we were. I wasn't tracking any clues. I wasn't really catching on it too much. But in this one, I was like, I'm going to solve this. It's hard for me to compare because both experiences were so different. I do think this one has way more clues and like things to pay attention to and like different, because the first one, it was a family, so everyone interacting, like nothing was odd. It was like this person talking to this person. It didn't feel super odd. Whereas in this one, suddenly two characters that we have never seen interact before were having an argument in this spot, and you're like, so they have history. So there were a lot of different things to pay attention to in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I like the gimmick of everyone in my family has killed someone more than, I mean, there wasn't really a gimmick in this one. This one was just like a mystery.
Yeah.
I like the gimmick of like,
well, I think this would be like the writer's thing, and
I guess the writer's thing,
things that could help with the mystery.
With the help with the mystery, yeah. I guess that's the equivalent gimmick. But I like that in the first book, kind of related to what you were saying. It took you a while to get into it before the first murder.
Yeah.
The first book gripped me kind of from the start because even if the murder hadn't taken place yet, it was like, oh, how did this person kill someone?
Yes.
What's the story behind this person? And we were unraveling each family member's backstory.
We knew that we were going to find out each person what they did. And that one was different too because it did have the flashbacks, which this one didn't. I don't know if it was, I guess it was flashbacks.
Yeah, sort of flashbacks, yeah.
Which this one didn't really.
Yeah.
So that was different too.
Yeah, so I like that kind of gimmick more.
Yeah.
But I like the overall mystery in this one more because there's more clues. We don't have to explain family backstories.
Yeah.
There's more clues, and we definitely caught more of the clues this time around.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was like more rewarding. So something else I liked about this book a lot was the setting.
Shannon loves trains.
I love trains.
That's like one of Shannon's personality traits. Loves trains.
And I was so excited that this book took place on a train. I love train mysteries too. That's another one of my genres that I love so much. And I didn't even know the Gone existed.
Yeah.
And I read like the first line of the synopsis, and I went, how much does it cost to go on the Gone? Can I be there right now? Can I be on there? And it cost 3,000 Australian dollars, which is a lot in any currency of your choice.
Yes. But it is all inclusive.
But it's all inclusive, and it's not an impossible number.
No.
So I think if this podcast gets really cool,
Sponsor us.
I would love to go on the Gone.
I would love to go on the Gone.
The other thing is like, just I like the settings in these books that are like unique because, like, as I said in the first one, I don't think I read a book that took place in Australia, and I think,
and then the ski resort in the first one, and now,
and especially I think the Gone is such a dynamic environment because it's going through like the Australian outback, and I think that's just it's just a fun setting.
Yeah, not even that. Like, I haven't read that many books that take place on trains. Like, the only one I can think of is Murder on the Orient Express.
You're not reading the same kind of books I read.
You read a lot of train books. Name a train book. Like,
that takes place on a train?
Yeah.
Besides Orient Express, I can't name that one. Well, now you've put me on the spot.
Exactly.
Now you put me on the spot. Let me think.
I don't think I have. Like not a book that would be like primarily on a train, like that takes place, that's the main setting.
I think more people should write about trains.
Yeah, that maybe this is the takeaway here.
You know how there's like, I've read a lot of steampunk books that take place on like airships.
Yes.
I think they should be trains instead. Maybe I need to be the change I wish to see in this world. Nah.
Trains are cool. Have you ever watched Snowpiercer?
No.
You should watch Snowpiercer.
Yeah, but I've heard of it. Yeah,
that's a big train.
That's a big train.
That's a big train movie, and there's a show too. So
moving on from trains.
No, honestly, I love not trains specifically, but I love books that take place in one location.
Yeah,
like I love so I did really like the train setting. Like we had a little map, a little thing in the beginning too that shows where each person's staying and stuff, and like I like that because then it's like it feels safe. I don't know, like I'm like I know where I am, I can picture it. Oh, we're going back to our rooms. I know where we are. We're going to the bar. I know. Mm-hmm.
And it's a clue. And it came up.
Next thing we want to talk about is just, I mean, we've talked a lot about this in the first one, but just the style and like how he does with the breaking the fourth wall and giving you all the hints and just like his comedic time. I don't know. I think it's so fun. It's genuinely is one of the best voices in a book I've read, I think.
I agree. Yeah, no, I just think it's very fun. It's actually very fun to go from Percy Jackson and then reading this book because it's not like, similar, but it's the same kind of like kind of sort of breaking the fourth wall, kind of sort of the narrator is like speaking to you, has commentaries, making jokes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think this really helps too with the whole thing with the solving the murder. I think we mentioned it again on the past. Sorry if you listened to the first episode, this might be repeated things that we're saying, but we're both not big mystery readers. Like we've read mysteries, but we don't have like an extensive background in reading mysteries, but I think that not all of them, like the ones that I've read were like Agatha Christie or some other ones, and I feel like they don't interact with the readers in that sense. Like they're not trying to give you the hints. And in this one, you can feel that Ernest is like, solve this with me.
I need your help.
Yeah, I need your help. Like pay attention. Like this thing that I'm mentioning right now, this will be important later. And I love that he does that because it's helpful, because if they don't, like there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't point out and that we will grab as we read, but I love when he does mention stuff because then I'm like, okay, this will help me. Like those were the things that I was going back over and over. He was like, oh, this I'm gonna mention this later, this is happening right now, this is gonna help solve this thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm going back to this. Whenever I had another clue, I'd be like, this match what Ernest said that one time. Just moving on now to solving the murder. Yes. And we nailed it. We solved it. Shannon, talk about your experience doing that.
Yeah, so again, I was just kind of reading it together with my partner, so we kind of both solved it, like, actually pretty early on, I would say. It was after the first murder, and I shall not say how many murders there are in this book, but it was after the first one, which is pretty early on. And it was fun because we had such a strong hypothesis, and we were, like, looking for clues that would, like, support the hypothesis. But I would say, like, we kind of got, like, a lot of it, but I would say that there are still twists in this book that surprised me. Like, we still didn't get everything. Yeah. And I was, like, with how thorough I think we were being, I was, pleasantly surprised that there were still stuff that I like, not even, like, thought of. Like, wasn't even on my radar of, like, oh my God, I didn't even think of that, you know? Like, and we were doing, like, quite a thorough job of looking for all the clues.
Yeah. And it's fun in this one because, or like in these books, is that, sure, there's like one murderer, or like sometimes there's more than one, but I'm saying, like, there's, like, you're trying to solve the murder, but you're also trying to solve what's happening with the other people, like, what are their secrets? So that there's also, like, that process of elimination, like, you are hiding secrets. Is this related to the murder, or are you just hiding the secret because of other reasons? So there's a lot of stuff that you have to figure it out. And
what about you? What was I know you've had an extensive process.
Was crazy, guys. I don't know if I would repeat this, but it was actually kind of fun, but also exhausting. So I read the book and I was trying to catch on the details. I was writing stuff down, but then you get to a point in this book where, so it's like very close to the end, Ernest is like, okay, guys, I'm about to solve this murder.
This is it.
So if you want to still try to guess, like, this is your last chance to figure it out before I will review the answers. And when I got to that point, I was like, I have some guesses, but I'm really not that close. Like, I don't have I have little things that I noticed, but and I needed to solve this because Shannon and her partner had already figured it out. And I'm like, no, I need to solve this too.
You need to be on the team.
If they can solve it, like, I can solve it too. I can try to track all this down. So I reread the book again. I went back to the beginning and that really helped because I knew what to look for. There were things that I would read and I'm like, oh, I already know the answer to this. So I don't have to pay attention to it because I already know why this was mentioned, why this happened, why these people are talking to each other. But there is just so many details. There's so much stuff. And I was trying to figure out, like, everything. I got, like, this whiteboard that I have at my house. I have, like, literally written so much stuff on it. And then I took my notes app. I was, like, on the bus to work and I was, like, reading it and typing every little thing. And I kept, like, at the end, and I just kept going back. And then yesterday was when I was trying to figure out, like finally sit down with all of my notes and try to figure out. I literally spent, like, 3 hours fully just reading my notes and trying to, like, piece everything together. It was kind of really tiring, but it was really fun because I caught so much. And at that point, I started sending Shannon and her partner, like, just, like, voice messages, because I was like, I need to talk this through. I don't want them. I told them not to give anything away to me. I said, if I will say something, you just say okay. No, don't say anything else. And I had so much. I was sending you in a crazy amount.
Is everyone so crazy? Like, she was sending me these voice messages, and you did actually a really good job. Yeah. Like, you were sending me the voice messages, and I was like, oh my God, she's nailed it. Like, she's got it. 100%, she nailed it. I can't say anything, obviously. Yeah. But, like, she should. So many times I wanted to text you and just be like, just read it. Like, you've got it. Just read it. You've got it. Read it. And then you sent me more messages and I was like, she's overcooked it. She's over.
One of the first messages I sent you was already me being like, kind of guessing the murderer. Yeah. But then I was like, there's so many other things. And that's the thing with, like, the little secrets from other people. And I'm like, okay, but why is this? I kind of just try to solve everything about everyone. And it got to a point that I was like, no, I have to stop. I had two main guesses. I was more leaning towards one, but I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have to say both because I know the backstory for both of them. Like, I feel like this makes sense, and I did get it. But, like, in the sense that I had the two options, it was like it's either or, so I didn't just lock into one. They ended up locking into one. Right? Yeah.
We were, like, pretty sure about it, and then it turned out being, like, correct. Yeah.
I was like, I kept sending you a message. I'm like, oh, it's this person or this person, and, like, I kept just being like, it's either one of these.
I was like, is there a lock it?
Yeah. But I did it, guys. And that was really good because I was gonna be so disappointed if I went through all that trouble too.
But I think it, like, goes to show, like, the first, like, voice message you sent us, you basically had it.
Yeah.
And like, I think it, like, I can't imagine overthinking it that much and not getting it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, if it was not it, I'd be like, well, that's just a bad book. Like, that it's bad.
Because everything was connecting at one point, right?
Yeah.
So if I was wrong, I was like, how was I? Like, things were connecting so well.
Yeah. So I think it just goes to show, like, how well this kind of book is crafted, and, like, all the clues are pointing the reader at least in the right direction to make the same deductions that Ernest can make.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not that wild that he came up with that, right?
Yeah, because he has all the same information that we do.
So I really liked that. And we'll see. I know we were talking about the third book and you guys were telling me that it's a little harder to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I will see. I won't go into this much like work over it, but I'll see how it goes.
So we're going to talk about the activity that we did, which was an escape room. We've never done an escape room together, but we have done them in the past individually. Yeah. I've done 2 in the past.
Me too, yeah.
Oh, you also did? Okay, yeah. But both of mine, so we hadn't been to this place before that we went to. And it was really fun.
It was the best one I've done.
I agree.
I thought it was really good. And we were trying to find a one that was train themed. Unfortunately, they didn't have it.
Unfortunately, that was too much to ask.
No. So our theme was like Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yes, it was like an oddities collector kind of person, like a collector, basically. And we were trying to find like a treasure that was in like her like collection, basically.
It was so fun.
Yeah,
because it was just so well decorated. I literally, the moment I stepped in, because it had like themed music too and everything, and I was like, this literally feels like one of those rooms at Disneyland. Yeah, like right before a ride when you go in and they start like, there's a TV and they're like talking to you and there's like stuff everywhere. It was really well decorated and that was so fun. And we went with like a really good group of people, so we all worked together. And like there were so many clues that we could like split up and each group to be looking at something else.
Yeah, I think we did a really good job where everyone kind of locked in.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone was into it basically. And if you didn't want to do a puzzle, you could just kind of wander away and be like, okay, what are you guys doing? I think escape rooms are so fun to me because if you do it like with a large group of people, you won't get the full experience, because afterwards we were talking about like puzzles and I was like, okay, so what were you guys up to? Because I was busy over there doing a different puzzle.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea. Yeah, no, I kept getting lost in what you guys were doing with the blocks and stuff. I was like, I don't know where those are coming from. I feel like we're all just really smart because like we made it, so we did it in 45 minutes out of the 1 hour, and we were on a roll. Like we were doing it so fast, and I just think that like they were all things that we could figure it out, but I was just thinking like if I had done this with my family, like we would have not. Like we needed all our brains together, because I feel like me and my family, we just wouldn't have caught like a lot of this stuff.
Don't know if we could have done it,
or it would take me longer.
Yeah, I don't know if we could have done it faster.
No, yeah, it was so fast.
I think maybe we could have done it like maybe 5 minutes faster.
Maybe.
Do you have a favorite puzzle that we solved?
Oh my gosh.
I think all the puzzles were really good.
Yeah.
I like escape rooms a lot because
I thought the clocks were really cool.
Yeah.
Our friend Ellie was the master of the clocks. But there were a bunch of clocks on the wall with different times. And then we would just find these boxes that you had to like turn the dials to match certain clocks for certain things. I think all of them were so fun. And it was fun because whenever you got one of the clues correctly, it would like something would beep and like a random drawer would open. Oh, that was so exciting.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I think that place we went to was pretty good.
I like to go into the second room because I've never done one where there was a second room. Or if I have, I didn't know there was a second room because I never made it past the first one.
There's one I did that which was really funny, which is we had a large group. I think it was like 10 of us. And they split us up into 2 groups. And we were like locked in like 2 different rooms.
Yeah.
And we could hear each other, but we couldn't see each other.
Yeah.
And we had to yell stuff across to each other to like get each of us out of the room. Yeah. And that was like just the first puzzle basically. But that was really fun.
That's
like just
really
that concept.
Fun. Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah. And it was so good. I feel like after reading this book, I was like locked in on every clue. I'm like, all these things mean something.
What are these clues?
What are these clues? Yeah, like I fully missed the stuff with the jars. Like I didn't fully see what you guys were doing. Did you see that one? Or you weren't really that?
I wasn't doing the jars.
Yeah, the
jars I was doing. Did you do the stuff on? You weren't doing the stuff on the wall, like with the masks.
Oh, there was so much.
It was fun because I think it was the glass cabinet that you guys opened.
Yeah, we put the masks in
which
there,
is then you put the mask on the thing.
Yeah, but we did those masks too.
So they had symbols on them.
Yeah.
So then in the second room there was a code on there, and you had to there was a sheet of paper that told you like what each number corresponded to, like which symbol corresponded to a number, and then what mask it was on the wall, except they were like reversed. So there was a mirror, and you had to look at the thing in the.
That's what the mask.
Yeah, so that's what the mirror was, by the way. But if you looked in the mirror, the thing showed non-reversed, and then you could figure out order the symbols were, and the symbols correspond to the masks, and then that told you a number. And
for the safe.
For the safe, yeah.
Oh wow. That was really cool. Anyways, all this to say, I know that this means nothing to you guys. But all this to say, escape rooms are so fun. The moment I was on like such a high after we finished, I was like, I could go into another one right now.
She wanted to get locked up again.
Let's try again, because they had 3 different themed ones, and so we should come back. We should go back to that. I really like that spot.
I liked it too. I thought their rooms were really good.
Yeah. So that was cool. I liked solving the mystery in the book, and then the start of solving that little mystery in real life. It was cool feeling like you were solving a mystery.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't on a train.
Yeah. Oh, well, next time. On the gun. We'll be on the gun. Solving a murder.
So we're going to jump into spoilers now. This is your last chance to solve who did it using the clues we've left in this podcast episode. Maybe you could figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't want to know who did it, we're about to say it. So please leave. You should read the book.
We're jumping into spoilers now. Bye. Okay. So
it was Harriet.
Well, I was in between Jasper and Harriet. So I think it makes sense because they were pretty, like their motives, their situation was pretty combined, I think.
So maybe we should talk about like the characters in case you missed it and we just spoiled it for you. But talk about like some of the characters, like their stories on the train, and maybe we can talk about Juliet first. Who was someone who showed up in the first book, who had a small part in the first book.
I didn't really like Juliet.
No, I didn't really care for Juliet in the first book. I was just like, okay, whatever. Like this is kind of a nothing character to me. But in this book, she kind of had like so much personality. I was like, oh my god, this is so fun. I liked her a lot. Not related to the mystery, but related to the themes. But I really liked Ernest and Juliet's relationship in this book. When Ernest was like, I'm gonna propose, I was like, oh, Ernie. Oh my god.
But that scene where he did go for it, I was like, please stop.
I love that scene. I unironically really liked that scene.
I hated that. That was so bad. That was not the moment. They were around everyone too.
Yeah, no, it was awful. I like Juliet as a character. I think she's a saint for handling the proposal thing the way that she did, and gracefully taking her exit from the train. But I also just liked the ending of the story with her and Ernest and her writing the end. I don't know if you thought this. I kind of thought Ernest had died.
I know. For a second.
I kind of thought Ernest had died.
And then I was like, no, there's another book. He's not dead.
I was like, I know there's a third book. I know there's a third book. But the fake out. For a second, I was like, oh my god.
I did, but I was like, she would not have written it like this. She's talking in a little like too funny way. I was like, no, he's not that.
No, but I really like that we got a chapter from Juliet at the end because of like the way that Ernest and Juliet's story parallel like Jasper and Harriet's story, and the way that Harriet was doing all of this for Jasper, and the way that Juliet was like, you thought I would do all of this for you?
You think I would kill someone so you could write a book? What the fuck?
So I think that was I think that was just a cute way to like to turn Juliet into more of a character and as like a contrasting to like Ernest.
Did you know that did you imagine that she was the one that was invited?
No, I didn't, but I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool touch. I that she was invited,
because he kept being like, why would he invite me? And I'm like, does this mean something? Is this a hint that he keeps questioning it?
So I didn't get that, but I enjoyed that twist a lot, because I was like, oh my god, makes sense. Even though I did like your first book, Ernest.
Maybe let's talk about the other characters. Well, let's save Jasper and Harry to the end. But let's talk about the other characters that aren't writers first. So like, let's talk about Simone. So I feel like she ended up having a part at the end that was just kind of felt a little random to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
You and I kind of both agree. We thought Simone had like huge death flags.
I thought she was going to be the one to die, because I knew there was going to be one last person dying at the end, and I was pretty sure it was going to be her, but...
Yeah, and Simone is Ernest's literary agent, and Ernest makes suggestions throughout the book that he needs to get a new literary agent, given all that happened.
Yeah. And
So
like, oh, something's happening to Simone.
yeah. And she gets like held at knife point kind of at the end of the book. And I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. She's goner. But no, she just was trying to kind of get Ernest on the right track with his book and like trying to point out like that there was a ghostwriter on the train. It was just weird, honestly.
It was weird, yeah. I did like her at points.
I liked her, yeah.
I liked her when Ernest was at the end, like doing his little, like, who is the killer? And she was very excited. She was like, ooh, I'm really excited to see this. So that was cute. I liked how she, even though Ernest kept like mentioning how like his book didn't do that well and like putting himself down and stuff, I feel like she still like was a fan. Like she was still rooting for him, which I liked.
Maybe rooting for him a little too much.
Maybe a little too much, but yeah, I did.
I liked her. Yeah, I liked her generally. I just think at the end her motives were kind of strange.
Yeah,
and maybe
I wish she had something else to her. Like another secret or another something. Do you have any thoughts about Aaron and Cynthia?
I was thrown by them. I'll just mention this quickly. So they're the staff that work on the train, and I really thought that they were going to be important because so many weird things were happening with Aaron. Like him stopping the train at the end and him like being there when they're investigating like McTavish's room. Yeah. And I really thought they would be something. They turned out to basically be red herrings. They turned out just to be staff on the train. So I have nothing else further to say except if I didn't guess that it was Harriet, my next guess was that, I don't know, Aaron.
Random.
Like I was, well, because I was so locked in on Harriet that I went, I don't know anything about Aaron. Maybe Aaron.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I didn't have any clues other than just like weird things.
Weird vibes sometimes.
Weird vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, how he didn't want like Ernest to be like solving the crime. He was like, there's no crime here. Stuff like that. But it was just nothing. Douglas.
I like Douglas a lot.
Yeah.
Like just in general, his story. So he's kind of there to introduce kind of like the backstory of
the train.
Of the train.
And the bus.
And the bus. I'm happy he survived.
Yeah.
I was kind of scared that he would die or be one of the victims.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him to be. All these like, same with the first book, like all these like backstory crimes are like kind of dark. Like this one especially is really dark.
Yeah.
It's about like these kids who are kind of held hostage and like killed by getting run over by a train.
The teacher was Douglas's husband.
Yes.
So he was on the bus as well.
Yeah, so he lost his husband and I'm just really happy that he made it out.
Yeah, that's true. I think he was just, his main point was just to be a suspect because he had a gun at one point and he was like, it seems like he wanted to kill McTavish based on his suspicions, thinking he was one of the guy caused the accident.
Yeah.
No, I guess it's not an accident that caused the tragedy. But so yeah, there were like little things to him, but nothing that like was fully. And I think also because it was so early on that we saw him dropping off that gun that I was like, this is too early for us to be like, there's no way it's him.
The other thing I think is funny is that I did have that thought, which is like, is Troy Firth the bus driver? Is he McTavish?
Yeah.
And I like that there was a character in the story that had that same thought process enough that he was like, I'm gonna go kill this guy.
Yeah.
And at the end being like, well, no, of course not. McTavish was in Scotland and
yeah. I thought for a second that he could have been that because even I think it was either Aaron or it was Douglas that mentioned that the bus driver was too flat to be recognizable on the bus. And they knew that McTavish had an injury. So they were like, ooh, is it him? And then I went to look up when his injury happened. And I was like, yeah, no, that doesn't match because his injury was in 2004. The thing with the bus happened when like SF Majors was a kid. So they're all kids.
Isidore was locked in.
I was locked in. I was like, it's not him. So then I was like, no, he's not on my suspect list.
Yeah, no. But the other thing I liked about Douglas is that, he did have a lot of those like deep conversations with Ernest.
Yeah.
Because Ernest eventually talks him out of like killing anyone.
Yeah.
But Douglas is like, how did it feel to kill someone? How did it feel? How did you do that? And again, I just like that as I mentioned at the start of this podcast, like those questions being brought up to Ernest again and like him like having those feelings in this book. I think that's fun.
So we started the book. So there's technically this is gonna be a whole thing, but Ernest says there's 7 authors joining,
and he's right,
joining the bus. Yeah, but there's 6 official ones if we don't count Juliet, and if we don't look at Jasper, which we'll talk about later.
If we discount all these people,
and we just because I'm seeing
the official invited
when
guests.
He mentioned, when he mentions it at the beginning, I was like, oh, so it's these people. So there's 6 of them, and then there's an extra one, which I was like, oh, Juliet's a writer. But that is Ernest, Wolfgang, Alan Royce, Lisa Fulton, Henry McTavish, and SF Majors.
Yeah.
So my main thing with this book that really was like, that was what annoying me at the beginning, was that they referred to them by last names a lot. And that was really hard for me to like keep track, especially because for me at the beginning, they all sounded very similar. Like I thought Wolfgang, Royce, even McTavish sometimes were just sounded very similar, and they all just sounded like these old white men. and like I don't know if they're white because there wasn't specified, but that's just how they were sounding in my head. And I was like, I don't want to listen to these men. I don't like any of these people. And like, it was too much. And it was hard for me to track down. Eventually, when like the murder happened and stuff, I started, because then we saw more of Royce, because Royce was more like a bigger part of it. Like people were actually more involved. At the beginning, we would just see them in the panels and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are. But that was my biggest thing at the beginning. Eventually, like now I can obviously picture all of them with their names. But at the beginning, it's just like SF Majors, Wolfgang, Royce, but sometimes he's Alan, and McTavish, and then he's Henry. It's just too many names. But it's okay, I got over it. But anyway, so we got all those writers. Ernie mentions it at the beginning. He says 7 writers are entering the train. Only 5 of them are gonna come out at the end of the line.
And one of
them's gonna be in cuffs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, interesting. Henry dies, McTavish dies, so you're like, okay, McTavish is out. So there's one more person's not gonna be here. And then eventually Juliet leaves. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's Juliet. So all 5 writers are gonna stay alive until the end. So that was, but then there was like Ernest, SF Majors, Lisa, Wolfgang, Royce. Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah, but the one that left alive at the end of the line. Jasper was the 8th.
You mean that who got off the train?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the one in cuffs was Royce.
I mean, yeah, the technicality is that Henry McTavish dies and Jasper dies. But Henry McTavish is not the writer
that Ernie mentioned. But at the beginning, you don't know that. You assume that.
Yeah, you assume it's McTavish. Yeah.
But yeah, technically, McTavish is just a farce. But yeah, okay, let's go through these authors. You want to start with Lisa? I feel like the story.
Yeah, Lisa and Brooke together. Yeah, we deduced kind of early on that Lisa says she has a kid, that she says she's a single mother. And we kind of deduced pretty early on that it was Henry McTavish's. Yeah,
because they mentioned they had like a fling or whatever. Yes. But whenever they mention it, it just feels off, and like she does not like it just feels like that was not really a good nice fling. Yeah, no. And Ernest mentions at the start of the book that like rape does happen in this book. Yeah, I didn't catch that. So I was like, oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. Honestly, heartbreaking story, Lisa's story, that so many people like kind of just took advantage of her. But I didn't clock that Brooke was the kid. So Brooke is like this huge fan of McTavish, who's on the train, is so excited to meet him. And then, you realize later that Lisa and Brooke are actually on the train together. So Brooke is like her plus one. Yeah, it stays in her room. This is the part of the story where the sides of the train come into play, because it's like she had like a sunburn on one side of her or something, and she had to have been staying on a train that was facing this way. And I was like, oh my God, Ernest! It's like the guest room or the facing a different place. Yeah. I know. I was like, Ernest, why are you paying attention to that? Come on. We're paying attention to sunburns. I didn't clock that Brooke was the kid at all. Yeah, I clocked it. But so you didn't clock it even, so only when he mentioned it. Only when he mentioned it. Okay, I collected like a little before, like 2 pages before, when they're like, oh, you had a kid, and you had a kid, McTavish's kid, and I was like, oh, it's Brooke. That's when I got it, but that was pretty soon. Then he was like, it's Brooke. Yeah, Lisa, I never really suspected Lisa. Yeah, I never really had any suspicions. Did you, of her? Not really. I did like that scene falling in the holes together. Oh my God, that was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of scary.
And then she stole the police cruiser and was like driving away, and Ernest was trying to like go after her. And then I really liked when she was trying to get him back on the train. I think one of my favorite scenes is that he's trying to get on the train and then Andy calls him.
And then he's on the phone. I'm like, why are you talking to Andy right now?
And Lisa's like, stop talking. I think that's so funny. Like, again, there's just it's crazy how many action scenes happen in these mystery books.
I like that when Ernie's at the end being like, I'm so sorry for if this book ever gets adapted into a film, but it's very low budget. There's a scene where I have to be on top of a car, and there's a scene I have to be on top of a train.
But I think that like whenever action scenes do happen in these books, they're very exciting.
It was fun, yeah.
I like them a lot.
It's funny when he like went to jump on the train and the train
just
hit it because the train was
stopped.
off, and he looks back and Lisa's just like outside being like, yeah, I told you.
That's so funny. I love Lisa. Actually.
Yeah, but that was crazy that he like, it was funny when he was like ready to die on that hole, and then she saves him, and she was like, I'm not a murderer. I'm not gonna let you die from that. Like, yeah, I don't want you to be chasing me, but I'm not gonna let you die on this hole. But yeah, and that explained the whole thing with like she was in McTavish's room that night.
Yeah,
I think her story at that point that was before my reread, so I was already, when I started rereading and getting all those things, I was like, I already know that this is about Lisa. It's not that important. She's not the murderer. So yeah. Anyways, so let's go into Royce.
I didn't like Royce. I don't think anyone was supposed to like Royce. I did think him being Watson for a second was super cute. I also, when he gathered everyone together and was like, I've solved it.
So
I thought that was such a funny scene.
Yeah, it was so funny. Oh, and I also, when Ernie went into his room at that one part, and he thinks Ernie did it.
Yeah.
And then like he mumbled something, so then when Ernie replied, he said, what did you do? And Ernie said, what would you have done if it was you? And then Ernie was like, this and this. And he's like, so you're confessing. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm just and then he's like, can we have this conversation outside? And then he realizes that Royce is kind of like scared because he thinks Ernie's the murderer, ready to kill him. That was funny.
Yeah, I think Royce is really funny as like someone else who's also trying to solve it.
Yeah. His whole notebook.
Yeah.
Taking notes. It was funny though. Oh, it was crazy when McTavish died, and it's like, and the only thing you could hear was Royce writing on his notebook. I'm like, this man's so unfazed. Like, what do you mean you're writing on this notebook right now? This man just died in front of you.
But I didn't guess that he was the one who worked at the
didn't guess
in forensics,
because and yeah, Royce ended up being the one in cuffs. I knew Royce was gonna do something because there was at one point, I forget what happened, but Ernie was like, oh, by the end of this, Royce is gonna have to worry about more things. Oh, I think it's when Ernie broke into his room and took that thing.
Something like that.
And he was like, well, but I'm not worried because by the end of this, Royce is gonna be dealing with bigger legal matters than a little burglary. So I was like, what is Royce gonna be dealing with? But it was that thing from the past where he tampered with the lab results from Lisa that would have proved that McTavish raped her. So that, and then he was like, oh, McTavish owes me. There was like a whole thing, and he like didn't want to talk about Lisa and McTavish together. There were some little hints, but not enough that I would piece it together.
I agree. But again, when it like happened, I was like, of course.
I know. I was like, we did have all the clues.
Yeah.
No, SF Majors is. She had an idea. She met with McTavish and Lisa in 2003 on this writing conference. She told McTavish about this book idea that was inspired by the events of the bus and the train that happened when she was little, because she was from around that town. McTavish just plagiarized that and like wrote a book and stole her idea, basically.
Yeah, and that's why Douglas actually thinks Henry McTavish might be the bus driver.
Yeah.
Because she tells it in such a way that's like, oh, you had to have been there to like get all these clues and like the idea that the murderer actually made it out.
Yeah. And that was just like an idea that she had for the book. She's like, what if the murderer had made it out? But she didn't actually know.
No, because she wasn't there that day.
Yeah, she was just she was like the friends. She was a child.
She was
from
sick.
That class, but she was sick, so she didn't go to that little field trip or whatever it was. Yeah, I also didn't really suspect her that much.
No, I didn't suspect her either. The only thing that was curious was that she was the one who organized the conference.
Yes.
So she invited everyone on the train.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, so why? So SF Majors knew that Lisa would be here, that Wolfgang would be here, that McTavish would be here. You know, like, and it's like, why would you invite all these people?
Yeah.
And Ernie being like, well, why would she invite me? Yeah. And then you realize that now she didn't invite you. She didn't invite you.
Yeah. But true, yeah, that ended up not being like there was like a little thing at the end. Ernie's like, oh, maybe they had been trying to expose McTavish at some point. Like maybe this was all planned with Lisa and stuff, but it wasn't.
It didn't really impact. Yeah.
No. And yeah, so I think last writer, obviously, apart from we'll go into McTavish, but let's go into Wolfgang. He was my third suspect. So I was, for many reasons, one of them was also because of the number, because Ernie said that he was going to say the number of names 106 times.
Yeah.
And by the end, like, not by the end, but like before the end, it was definitely not S. Major's voice. It's not McTavish because obviously he's dead. So it's, I know we didn't know Jasper, like weren't really taking Jasper into consideration that much. So I was like, it's Wolfgang. So he was, but he didn't have, like, he had some things on him. Oh yeah, no, the one thing that I was suspected was the whole project, the death of literature. I'm like, what does this mean? And so he was having an argument with Wyatt at one point, and I was like, there's something here, but I couldn't fully have enough reason for him to be the killer, so that's why he was my number 3.
Yeah, but you kind of figured out.
Yes, because we'll go into it, but the whole ghostwriter thing.
Yes.
And how, like, I knew there was a ghostwriter, and I was like, it's either Jasper or it's Wolfgang.
Yeah.
And then on my reread, I realized that Jasper, when Ernie confronted Jasper about being a ghostwriter, he said, "You're Erica Matheson." But Jasper did not at any point say that he was. He said he was a ghostwriter, but he didn't say he was Erica Matheson. So I was like, oh, maybe it's Wolfgang. So now I did kind of get closest. But that's the thing. A lot of the guesses, I wasn't 100% sure on anything at this point. The only thing I was 100% sure was that Jasper, which we'll go into it, but that Jasper was the ghostwriter for Henry McTavish. I said it on my voice memo to Shannon. I was like, I'm 100% sure. Maybe I'm 90% sure just in case, but I'm 100% sure that Jasper is it. No, yeah. So he ended up being Erica Matheson.
Yes.
And he wrote it. So the death of literature was that he wrote it with AI. He just used AI, and he was going to expose it. It was like a whole thing because that book ended up being very popular, and he just wanted to like expose it and ruin. Why did he want to do that?
Because he's weird.
Yeah, was it? Did he?
Because he wanted to be like, oh, look at like.
I think he was like, really pretentious.
Yeah, pretentious. Yeah, like anything can be literature, you know. Like
yes, because he was like attacking Ernie at the beginning. Yeah, being like, well, you write is not literature or whatever. So that was what he was just sus. He would just say such weird shit sometimes, and I'm like,
don't agree with his work.
No. Yeah, and then obviously Harry McTavish, who was the kind of star.
Glad to see him gone.
Yeah, honestly, he was so gross. Not much to say about him other than he sucks. He clearly didn't write his books.
Yeah.
And actually, let's just go into Jasper, and then we can kind of say why we connected the dots.
Yeah. So I think you and I both caught on to the ghostwriter thing pretty early on. Did you? So you knew it before your reread?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Did you know it was Jasper, or did you?
I thought he was my main.
Okay,
guess. Because of the Erica Matheson thing, I didn't catch that he wasn't her, but I was like, oh, if he's a ghostwriter, he's writing under a different name, he might as well be writing ghostwriting stuff.
Were you thrown off by when Ernie said that Jasper was Erica Matheson?
No.
Okay, you were still sure it was Jasper? That was Henry McTavish?
Okay, no. So, sorry, no. I did not know that Jasper was the ghostwriter until he said that. Until he said that he was Erica Matheson.
Oh,
so
okay.
At that point, I was like, oh, okay, so if he's Erica Matheson, then he could also be... I knew there was a ghostwriter. Like, I had the sense, but I didn't know who it was. I think at that point, I thought Wolfgang, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't fully locked on that until, which is still pretty early. I think it's like midway through the book.
Yeah. We locked in on the ghostwriting thing pretty quick. Like that was our main thing. Mm-hmm. And again, our main reason to suspect Harriet, which was this ghostwriting thing, because basically everything that happened during that first panel and Jasper going up to Henry McTavish and getting the autograph. And we knew that 7 writers had boarded the train, but at that time, if you'd done, like, there were actually like 8 writers that were introduced that were on the train, and I was like, okay, one of these is not a writer.
I didn't catch that. I didn't think of that.
So that's why before Ernie spoke to Jasper, I was like, okay, Jasper's a ghostwriter, and then we're like, who's he a ghostwriter for? Henry McTavish, because of like the way Henry was like interacting with Jasper, and
maybe I did. Now I can't remember for sure. Maybe I did suspect it before. So
yeah,
because of those things.
Yeah, and then Ernie went to Jasper and was like, "Oh, you're Erica Matheson," and we were like, because Jasper never says that he's Erica Matheson.
I only caught that on my reread.
Yeah. He's just like, "Oh, haha, yeah."
Because my thing is, I thought and this is another thing, I think they did this on purpose. The whole Archie Bench thing. Yeah. Which is on the first panel, Brooke brings up Archie Bench to McTavish because basically McTavish quote unquote wrote this last book on his like big series with this character, and apparently the character dies in that book, and Brooke is like, okay, but Archie Bench, and then he was like, don't know what you're talking about, but sure. And so at that point I was like, why doesn't he understand what she's saying? Yeah. And then later when they go into his room after he's murdered, there's like a sheet with like as if he was trying to figure out what Archie Bench meant, and I was like, oh, he didn't write this book. Yeah. And then also I caught that pretty on, like when he was talking on the thing, he was acting as if he wanted to continue the series. Yes. And then later Ernie was like, oh, he didn't want to continue the series, but Wyatt wanted him to, and I'm like, that's not what I got from that. So it was a little confusing. Okay, yeah, but sorry, going back to Archie, if you jumble the letters, it spells Erica with an H. So I was like, H for Harriet. I literally was, that's why, this was another thing. I was like, Erica, Harriet. So Harriet is the one. So that's why I was stuck between Jasper and her. But I thought that the hint was that the author, I don't know, it was the same author. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. But another thing that I knew for sure is when Ernie wakes up in the middle of the night and he hears someone arguing with Wyatt in his room. And he assumes it's Henry. Automatically assumes it's Henry. And I'm like, it's not. Like, you literally don't hear Henry at all. Why would you assume that? So at that point, I was like, no, it's Jasper. Yeah, we got that too. We were like, there's Jasper in that room. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, we were locked in on Jasper. Being the ghostwriter. Yes. Pretty early on. Oh, and then the reviews. Oh my God. I couldn't figure it out. Because I didn't try hard enough, to be honest. I wasn't like fully locked in until later when I was on my 3 hours of brainstorming. And that's when I wrote down all the reviews. And I was like, oh, I see. They spell out ghost. Yeah. You said you didn't catch it. We didn't catch it immediately. And then like our other friend who was reading the book just assumed we'd gotten it and just spoiled it for us. And we were like, oh, ghost. That's what that was. Because that was given to right away then. So if she caught that right away, she knew like so soon. That's like... Well, second chapter, I feel like. I noticed that it's a ghost writer, but like... What other ghosts would it be? There's a supernatural in these books. Yeah, and I think like the last main thing in terms of the ghost writer thing was the Oxford comma. Yeah. Because at the beginning of the book, Ernie says the comma saves the day. And then later Wolfgang mentions how McTavish is obsessed with the Oxford comma. And then later on, we see that manuscript on Wyatt's room. And the title was like Love, Death and Whiskey. And there's no Oxford comma. And I'm like, so it was not. It was never him. McTavish did not write that. Yeah, I thought it was that McTavish never wrote any of the books. It turns out McTavish did write some of his books. Yeah. Like at least the first 3, I think. But the rest of the series. Yeah. And yeah, I think, again, like kind of getting to like Harriet now, it's like Jasper didn't want anyone to know that he was the ghostwriter. He was fine with just being the ghostwriter. NDA type thing. Yeah. But his wife, so Harriet knew, and Harriet wanted Jasper to write for himself. Yeah. He didn't want him to be trapped writing the Moribund series. Yeah. They kept having arguments where she was like, you don't need the money. You don't need to take this. And like, you don't need to do this right now. And, but he wanted to be like, you know, like it's fine for my family and it's fine for me. But like, she didn't like the way everyone was kind of treating Jasper, the way Henry and Wyatt were like treating Jasper as like someone who like can be used, basically. And so she plots to kill Henry and Wyatt. Yeah, my main hints apart from like little context clues, my main hints were the Erica H, and then, which literally was not even a thing, and the flowers. Yeah, that was also our main clue. And because Andy, who is Ernest's uncle, calls him because he has his new little detective agency he's doing, and so funny, he's solving this like silly little burglary that like a botanist. And then he keeps calling Ernest in like random times and being like, oh, this is new information about my case. And then we find out that there's like the person, they got like poppies. It was like a botanist that, I was going to say raised poppies. That's not grew poppies, which was like that basically is like a drug that can be turned into a drug, which is that's how McTavish died. And there was a scene where there were flower petals on the ground leading to Jasper's and Harriet's room. And later on, Ernie brings it up and Jasper says, oh, that's all Harriet.
Yeah, she brought the
So I
flowers.
was like, okay. So,
you also
yeah.
locked on the fact that they drove up from
Yes,
Adelaide.
yeah.
Like you said that, I was like, oh, she's got it. She nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they said we drove all the way up and then we took the train down. I'm like, why would they do that? Because like I'm like, sure, they could have done that, but also nothing in this book just happens just because. Like, this means something. And so I was like, oh, did they rob it? And then they like drove up. I did think that they were both in on it. Like, yeah, I thought both of them would have been on the plan. So I didn't realize that like Jasper didn't know about this. I think that was like most of the clues.
Yeah, I think that like got us to like the conclusion basically.
Yeah, but you
it's
see
a lot.
like so much. There's so much that happens. Like little conversations here and there. You see one person arguing with someone else. Freaking the tea kettle's broken. That's because
It's
it was
important.
used to make the drink with the poppies. There's so many little things. But that's what makes it fun. Yeah. But yeah, at the end, we knew there was going to be another murder. We knew they were going to go up to the roof of the train and that someone was going to be in pieces. It was going to be hard to find the body. So that was like that big action scene.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jasper and Harriet.
So bad. I kind of hate that Jasper sacrificed himself like that. There could have been another way. I don't know.
I know, and Eric and you find out like kind of like at the end that Harriet is alive.
Yeah.
Because then she comes and tries to kill Ernie at the end in the hotel room.
Fucking crazy.
You know what's funny is
I wonder how far away. I guess they were already. How far away were they? Like she walked all the way to the hotel. How did she know where he was?
I guess just at the end in Adelaide. Yeah. I saw on Reddit people are saying that Juliet should have killed Harriet because then she would be joining the family.
Oh, Harry's taken into custody. She didn't die.
Yeah, she doesn't die. Yeah, so that's those are our thoughts.
Yeah, lots those. It wasn't even like our thoughts. It was just us telling you our process.
I'm really looking forward to the next book in the series that's coming out in March.
Yes.
Everyone in Spank is a thief, so I'm excited to. I'm going to read that. I hopefully
Right, yeah.
like when it comes out because I'm really excited. I want to read
do
it.
Another episode.
Yeah, maybe.
And we go to the bank.
And what will we do at the bank?
We'll see. But does he have other books? Have you looked into it?
He does. He actually does have mystery novels that he wrote, I think, before this series.
I'm a bit intrigued.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would be like, but
Yeah, I don't know what they're like.
Yeah.
But I would be interested. So those are our thoughts on Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. Have you read it? Did you guess who it was? You can let us know by emailing us at betweenthebookspod@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on Spotify, and you can also rate us if you enjoyed the podcast. Our next book is going to be Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, for real this time. And we will see you in the next episode.
bye.
Bye.